There's a new version of the Dodge Charger. The Super Bee has returned and now has 600 horsepower upgraded turbos. Let's check it out. The car was just revealed here at M1 Concourse ahead of Roadkill Nights, street legal drag racing on Woodward Avenue before the Dream Cruise. And here it is. There is one car on display and a lot of people. So let's do our best to show you some of the details on the new Super Bee. So it has a upgraded version of the Hurricane Inline 6 high output. They upgraded the turbos, 56mm Garrett turbo, so now it's making 600 horsepower, and there's some visual changes too. You can see how the front fascia has been restyled. It looks a bit more aggressive, a little more sculpted, lots of openings for airflow and cooling. And we've got the orange amber DRLs too, which is really cool. This one's in a very, very bright shade of yellow with the black contrast. You can also get in a bit more subtle color combo. And then we have upgraded brakes. They're Brembos. They're also vented, so way more brake fade resistance. We have the Super Bee logo back here. Honestly, Ram, Dodge, they do such a good job with the fun logos, right? You've got the Super Bee one here, the Ram Rumblebee logo. They always look so cool. The Hellcat obviously is iconic. So you get this really cool two-tone graphic livery back here, yellow accents on the brake calipers. Even the rear brakes have been upsized. And then we've got a little bit of a spoiler here on the trunk, the fully blacked out rear end. It says Charger right there. And look, exhaust tips. There's also some changes to the interior. We'll take a quick peek. This one, Launch Edition, has this really cool two-tone with the yellow stripes on the seats, the logo embroidered there on the headrest, mostly cloth here too, which I actually like. We've got bigger paddle shifters on the steering wheel, tons of yellow accents everywhere. Honestly, the interior of the new Charger has been really, really cool. And this one with all the fun yellow accents. Steering wheel actually, has this been slightly redone? It looks cool, like flat bottom, flat top, and a rear-wheel drive button right there. So this is fully all-wheel drive, but you can go 100% rear-wheel drive when you want. That is true for all the modern generations of the Dodge Charger. So yeah, you can do plenty of fun rear-wheel drive, burnouts, donuts, shenanigans. This event right here is pretty crazy. I am actually going to now insert some of the reveal programs. So we had the CEO talking, presenting. We had some of the aftermarket builds they're doing with like this builders and racing thing, and also some drift Chargers that are right over there. So let's insert some of that footage.
Please welcome Matt McAlear, Chief Executive Officer, Dodge.
Oh, thank you. I know why they wouldn't give me the keys this morning. Good morning and welcome to the 11th Roadkill Nights. It's great to be back here. There are a lot of places where you can reveal a new car, but there are very few places where a Dodge Charger feels at home more than right here in August on Woodward, surrounded by tire smoke, street legal drag racing, and people who understand that performance is not just a number on a spec sheet. It's something you hear, it's something you feel. That essence is what Charger has always been about, and it's exactly why we created Roadkill Nights. There isn't another Dodge event anywhere in the world like this. I look forward to this weekend every year because Roadkill Nights is more than a launch event. It's where Dodge comes to prove itself. It's where our engineers, our racers, our builders, and the brotherhood all come together. This is where ideas get tested, where horsepower gets celebrated, where factory performance becomes personal, and where the Dodge community reminds everyone what this brand has always stood for. Performance isn't something you talk about here. You build it, you race it, you improve it, and then you come back the next year and you do it all over again. straight line, we teamed up with Hemmings to build something entirely different. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new 2027 Dodge Charger Super Bee Launch Edition. Not just the quickest, fastest, and most powerful Super Bee ever built, but the most power-dense muscle car ever. And at its heart is our most powerful Hurricane Inline 6 ever, producing 600 horsepower. That's 200 horsepower per liter, pushing the Charger Super Bee from 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, and the quarter mile in 11.8. For those keeping track, and I know you are, that's quicker than the original 707 horsepower Hellcats. And what's even more impressive is it meets all of the SRT performance standards for braking, handling, and cooling. This Super Bee is engineered to hit harder, stay cooler, and keep performing when it matters most. The upgraded engine features larger 56mm Garrett twin turbos, delivering peak torque from 3,000 to 5,900 RPM. And a cooling system delivering 50% greater cooling capacity, helping it deliver that power run after run. And we can't just add power without upgrading the capability. So underneath, this Super Bee features dedicated track-focused hardware like massive 16-inch Brembo vented rotors, 6-piston front and 4-piston rear fixed calipers that deliver 3 times more brake fade resistant than any Charger 6-pack. Every change on this car serves a purpose. Sharper capability demanded greater precision, so it got adaptive damping suspension with a stiffer setup and nearly 10% stronger rear half shafts. Standard line lock and launch control, along with the return of torque reserve, are built in for drivers who want to lay down a killer burnout or perfect their launches. New track and drag drive modes are engineered to optimize performance, whether you're attacking a road course or making passes at the strip. And because this is still Dodge, because this is still Charger, an exclusive rear-wheel drive button right on the steering wheel. That button says a lot about this car. It says we understand the difference between capability and character. Standard all-wheel drive gives this Charger the ability to put power down with confidence. On-demand rear-wheel drive gives it the attitude people expect from a Dodge. The point is not to choose one forever. The point is to give drivers both available when the moment calls for it. With new larger paddle shifters, key performance functions are always right where you need them. When you hit the track, the standard drive experience recorder developed with Cosworth captures synchronized video, audio, and vehicle data, giving drivers the ability to replay, analyze, and relive every launch, lap, and pass. And because performance should look as serious as it feels, it got a new front-end design with more attitude and more purpose. For those who want something truly distinctive, the 2027 Super Bee Launch Edition will be offered as a limited production model. It will be offered exclusively in 3 exterior liveries. New Sucker Punch with gloss black accents, New Shady with gloss black accents, and Diamond Black with Sucker Punch accents. All 3 icons featuring gloss black 20-inch wheels and Hyperline brake calipers. Pricing, ordering, and availability details to be announced later this fall, so stay tuned. This is the continuous evolution of Charger, not abandoning what came before, not being trapped by it either. Taking the muscle car idea and moving it forward with more intelligence, more engineering, and more performance. And let's be clear, this isn't the finish line. We haven't even started talking about what SRT is working on. That should tell you something about where Dodge is headed. We're building a lineup that can stretch. All-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, coupe, sedan, street, strip, daily driver, late night burnout. Because for 60 years, Charger's always been bigger than a powertrain. It's an attitude. It's a promise. It's the idea that performance should be bold, accessible, and unapologetic. And here at Roadkill Nights is the place where Dodge fans do not just watch performance, they live it. We're making that promise again. Thank you for being here, and let's go racing.
So the big news today is the Super Bee, but mad scientist Rob Dahm has stepped out of the rotary world to mess with something with pistons. What have you done to this Dodge Charger? Because clearly you lost the hood.
Yes.
The turbo's so big.
You know what's funny is the hood actually fits perfectly fine, but it's like, I figured a lot of people would have their hoods off, and I want to show the work.
There you go.
And the other thing is the hood is it's meant to extract heat, and I wanted to actually make a 3D printed thing to push in heat, and I didn't get to that.
Oh.
Because I was here.
You're dealing with this mess of... You love wiring. I think you secretly love wiring. Like, you are the nerd who loves this.
It's like, no, stop. Can I wire
Don't make me do it again. Yeah. So this is still running factory ECUs-ish? You did something crazy.
Yeah, so this I'm the only one that has done this. There's a lot on this platform that I feel like I'm quickly becoming overly familiar with a platform I have no business knowing. But the stock computer is sitting right here in the middle of all the spider web.
Yes.
And so I went and basically realized that, okay, I have no knowledge of what's going on inside of this box, but I do know that it has to talk to the rest of the car. So what if I cut that, and you guys should see it, like, you can see it right here, I cut the phone lines, and then I go to this other box, and then I send it back to the rest of the car. I can program this box. So going back to my computer guy roots, I simply am adjusting what this is being told and what it's telling the rest of the car. So for example, Dodge is very, very smart. Their engineers are insanely smart. They actually prevent people from doing that, but not make it impossible. So to keep the car safe, they have this torque that the engine's producing being sent in 4 different spots and multiplied in 4 different ways. They all have to add up when they make it to the transmission.
Oh.
So it's redundant. There's 2 different ones, and this one's like a plus 500. This one's times it by 0.3. It's really weird math to make sure that the transmission always gets the right data. And so what I did was had to figure all of that out, and then I was like, well, let me just add a number to it. Let me just take the number, grab it, and it says, hey, there's a limit of, literally a limit of 270 Newton meters of torque. What if it was 470? And then I have to actually do this math, and then package it back
all the 4 different places.
Package it back up, because there's a way that they make sure it's legitimate. Package it back up, and I send it off. And sure enough, the other part's like, oh, 470, perfectly fine.
Holy crap.
So Dodge gives you a little bit of room in there for okay, maybe that wasn't what we talked about, but who knows? Maybe you're doing some bullshit. And so sure enough, on the launch, this is wild. The transmission is one of the limits. The brake system is the other major limit. So as soon as you step on the brakes in this car, it's electronic brakes. Your pedal feels what it's programmed. It's not real pressure. The brake system says, hey, I can hold on to 15,000 Newton meters of torque. That's literally what it says. And then that's a limit, because as soon as the car exceeds that, it starts rolling forward.
Oh.
So I said, well, what if that was 20,000? And so right now the car, when it goes to launch, makes way more power, but it does start rolling forward. And so then the thing that I think most people do not know about is this little box right here. This box is why this engine, and if you buy a Charger, this box to me is what makes this so insanely amazing platform. This is actually just all the spark plugs.
Oh, that's only for spark plugs.
Only for, normally that's all built, in
the
a
ECU.
Haltech, it's all built into one. Dodge, on this specifically, not on the Wagoneer, have the spark plug system separate. So you can see right here, again, I cut into it, that's the phone line, and I then cut into all 6 of the, you see 6 things there, and so that the computer thinks it's talking to this.
But it's not.
But I am getting the information and sending it to this, and then I'm controlling the ignition. But this thing is so smart, it can tell you when, hey, cylinder 6 is having an issue, and it sends back to the ECU, it says, hey, add more fuel.
Oh.
So what's so sick about tuning this car is I added tons of power, and the car, things are going to be uneven. Well, this box tells the computer how much more fuel to add to each of the cylinders, and it keeps it completely
balanced
dead
out.
flat. Even.
Whoa.
So it's tuning itself. even though it's being thrown into like, you know, aftermarket situations. So
into this mess.
Yes, yeah. So really impressive, absolutely impressive. So this box tells me when it's knocking, and it tells me when it's about to knock.
Interesting.
And so it's called ion sensing.
Yeah.
And so the ion sensing thing has been around for a long time, but people don't use it the way Dodge did. And that makes it easy for me, or anybody really as a tuner. You watch this, it tells you, hey, number 2 is just getting closer to pre-detonating. And so you don't even need to you don't need to look at air-fuel ratio. You don't even need to look at do dyno pulls. You can just keep it under this number.
That's crazy.
So
why do you think they didn't integrate it into the main ECU?
I don't. So like I said,
why separate controller?
Yeah, the Grand Wagoneer. This is all one.
Oh.
So I was being told to avoid this box because nobody knew what it was, but this box is doing.
That's like asking you to actually fiddle with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Rob, don't touch this. You're like, I'm going to touch it.
Yeah. By the way, we made it separate so you can skip between the two.
Yeah.
But this box is doing so much.
That's really cool.
I get why it's separate.
Okay.
Because normally you just have coils and you just tell them, hey, fire.
Yep.
This box actually overrides the ECU. That's one of the reasons why they're separate. Is the ECU says, hey, please start firing now, and this thing's like, you know what? No, we're having a problem with cylinders 2. Let's back it off a little bit. So
this is what you were nerding out about on your Instagram stories that I was seeing.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I saw data and everything, and I'm like, Rob is excited about something.
I want rotaries to have this.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's massive.
Next step. But anyways, so you've got obviously a big ass turbo.
Yep. So 3D printed, this is my very first fully tested 3D printed exhaust intake or exhaust manifold.
Yeah.
And it's working incredibly well.
Oh wow.
And so really short rotor, right to the point.
Okay.
And then 72 millimeter turbo.
Yep.
And I'm running more and more ethanol because this car doesn't have an ethanol sensor, except I put one on.
Oh.
So the stock fuel system just goes up and over.
Yep.
I teed into it, and then I have ethanol sensor, external fuel pressure, and then funny enough, I have one injector right at the throttle body.
Okay.
Just in case the stock system's like, I'm at a limit.
Yeah.
Which I haven't hit that limit. Other people have said this thing could do over 800, 900 horsepower with the stock fuel system.
So you've got 7 injectors.
Yes, I've got 7 injectors, yeah.
And power level you're at?
You know what? I would guess right now about 800.
All right,
and then
that's healthy.
I know for sure if I had 2 more days in the day on the dyno, just controlled environment, I could get this to 1,000. All the pieces are there.
Yeah. So you're going to do really well at Roadkill Nights. You're going to win, and then it's going to get turned up to 1,000 horsepower and keep messing around with it.
Well, you know, the thing when I did Roadkill last time was the 1,000 didn't matter. The launching mattered.
Yeah, right.
And so the thing that I have a disadvantage of is that this does not have a trans brake by stock. So other guys took the whole drive. This is why I'm proud of what I did. They gutted the car. Mine still has full interior, all airbags, all speakers, all AC, which is nice with the mugginess. And then it's the stock transmission. Some of these guys took the transmission out of a Dodge Challenger.
Oh, previous gen.
And a Demon where it has trans brake.
Yeah, I see.
So they can launch way harder than me.
Gotcha.
But I'm at the absolute limit of the stock transmissions launching.
Okay. Well, good luck. This is awesome to see. And I always love catching up with Rob. Thank you. Good job. I love hearing you nerd out, dude. So there we go. A quick look at the new 2027 Dodge Charger Super B. Some nice upgrades. I mean, 600 horsepower. It is 200 horsepower per liter, which is a pretty good power density, bigger turbos, more boost. One thing that will be really noticeable when we finally get to drive the Super B is peak torque from 3,000 to 5,900 RPM, and that is definitely impressive. I know some of you will be disappointed there's no Hemi, but there were teasers. Wait till what SRT is working on. I would not be surprised if the Hemi returns to the Charger, but in its own right, this one here with available all-wheel drive, full rear-wheel drive mode, you get the best of both worlds. 60 in 3.6 seconds, quarter mile was at 11.8. That beats the first generation 700 horsepower Charger Hellcat, right? This is advancements, and there's other things beyond just the power increase. We've also got the upgraded brakes, so 16-inch Brembos, more brake fade resistance, up 50% cooling capacity. So when you're driving these things hard, having fun on the track or whatever you're doing, it will be able to sustain and survive all of that too. We've got some tweaks to the interior, some new technology. I am personally looking forward to driving this and trying it out. The new one, the EV one, not a big fan, right? And I think sales reflect that. The inline six-pack, Scat Pack is actually quite a bit of fun. That high output, I did a road trip in it, like it's fun. I've launched it, done some acceleration runs and things like that. But now the Super B, the return of a rather iconic name. Hope you guys enjoyed this tour, checking it out, and the overall event. Ooh, looks like they started up some revs. sounds okay. It's no supercharged Hellcat, right? So, but you know, some of these aftermarket builds that people are running, they do sound really cool. Those drift cars sounded absolutely crazy when you start doing crazy stuff with them. In some other news, we have some custom color offerings at a reasonable price point. This one, Cha-Ching Green. If you're very familiar with Alfa Romeos, this might look quite familiar if you've seen an Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, for example, but it looks really nice here on the Charger. And also we've got a new interpretation of the racing stripes. These are like this light smoked matte finish. It's actually tinted paint protection film that has a satin finish to it, and it goes all the way over the top, and it actually looks really cool. A much more subtle racing stripe interpretation. I think is actually quite cool. And if you look inside, one of the Dodge guys was showing me, see how it goes over the sunroof, which is pretty cool too, the whole panoramic glass roof. This is another new paint color. I believe it's called Toxic Orange. Man, they are really good at just naming cool paint colors. You have Destroyer Gray, Toxic Orange, and then this red Durango also has that stealth stripe option, which it looks so different depending on the car it's put on. All right, there we go, the new Charger Super B. A little bit of a chaotic event, but I hope you guys got a taste of what it was like to be here, learned a bit about the car. I am looking forward to driving it and trying it out, and I am definitely excited to see what Dodge and Ram and SRT are continuing to work on, because they're giving us cooler and cooler things, and hopefully soon the return of a Hemi. But in the meantime, I mean, 600 horsepower all-wheel drive with available rear-wheel drive. That's pretty cool, right? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.